Shall we? Let's come up. Feet together. Hands to the heart. Breathe through your nose if you can. Turn naturally. Move your toes in ways that cause the breath to become more expressive. Move your toes in ways that cause your breath to become more expressive. Tuning out and tuning in, same thing. Tuning out of being someone, going somewhere with all your particular concerns. You know, each day we have particular concerns, don't we? We're very particular to ourselves, to our lives, very, very important, aren't they? Our particular things. So, you know, and that's always changing. And that's the field of karma. That's where karma plays out. So we tune out of that by tuning into this. What is this? Richness, the living moment. So moving your feet moves the legs, helps us to tune in. And what we're tuning in on is togetherness. The Sanskrit word yoga, I think, hopefully correctly, translates best to together. If you look, for example, in your Monye English Sanskrit dictionary, you'll find most of the words, if you look at them more carefully, indicate some sort of togetherness. So gathering together. So for example, the back of your legs, you can feel the hamstrings across the back of the knees, through the back of the thighs, to the sitting bones. By moving your feet, you can move your hamstrings. By moving your hamstrings, you can align or get them to agree with the rest of the body, agree with the breath. They draw deeper from the back towards the front. We draw each and every fiber of the hamstrings together, whether it be medial or lateral or intermedial. And as the hamstrings gather and deepen, the quadriceps can also come together, the front thigh muscles. So again, we gather, we discover, we find inner thighs, middle thighs, outer thighs, superficial thighs, deep thighs. And the process is ananta, endless. And that's exactly how yoga works. Raise your arms when you're ready. Lightly tone your tummy. Draw it in and up until you feel Muladhara. Now, I don't want to go into, I sort of do, but I'm not going to go into Muladhara much, other than to say we're talking about the Hatha version of Muladhara, and Muladhara is the buoyant support for energy, encouragement for energy, for consciousness, for awareness, to move into what we call the central channel, Madhya Nadi, central channel. So pelvic floor just reminds again and again, because the energy wants to go into habituation. It wants to go into our particular stuff, doesn't it? You know, what's my future? What's my past? Who am I in the present? Where am I going? Where have I come from? That's our particular stuff. But the center is exactly that, the middle. Bend ankles, knees, and hips and lean forwards. Breathe through your nose. Play with the pose any way you like. So knees can move forwards or backwards. You can twist the body left or right. The purpose, so-called artha, the purpose of our movement is to bring everything together. To return it to what we could call the one field. We're going to reach all the way down, see if we can touch the floor with our fingers. And a little bit of bum bouncing, why not? Bum bouncing. I always think it feels a sort of a chirpy sort of thing to do.
to bounce your bum up and down, a bit like a dog wagging its tail. But of course, it also releases the lower back muscles, gives you an opportunity to release the breath, to release, in other words, whatever the mind has taken hold of, to release the breath, to release whatever the heart, mind, whatever, listen carefully to that word, whatever the heart, mind has taken hold of. Yoga is emptiness, dancing. Let's bring the left hand in the center of the feet. Push down into the fingers and turn to bring your right hand on your sacrum, the bony plate above the tail. Breathe through your nose. Again, bouncing might help the flow indicated by the breath, which is spontaneous. That's why we sometimes say yoga is like a movement from a clenched fist to an open palm. That's our journey, that's our intent. Turning back to center, similarly round the other direction. So this is like a parivrita version of Utkatasana. Breathe through your nose. Movement's encouraged if that movement is part of general movement or flow. So where the mind tends to get caught up or snagged, in yoga, we encourage vahita, flow. Both hands on the floor, arms raised up behind you like you're skiing, ribs onto your thighs. Bouncing if you like. I've been told by reliable sources that when you go skiing, there are little bumps that you can feel under your feet. And those people that have been skiing often can't help but to reenact it. And those of us that can't afford to go skiing or are now too old, we just imagine it instead. It's much safer. Arms forwards and up. Utkata, as low or as high as you like. It could be a low utkata or a high utkata. But the arms are in line with the ribs. The head is in line with the spine. Inhale. Come up. Big circle. Hands to heart. Let me hear you breathe. Let me hear you breathe. So hands at the heart. Breathing deep. Jaw soft. Breathing deep. Feet together or close. If they're not together, no problem. Just make sure they're level. Spread your toes. Jaw soft, eyes soft. Stretch out your arms as if to hug a tree. Right? And I presume that everyone at least once this year has hugged a tree. And if not, the year hasn't ended yet. So you still have time. I recommend it. Highly recommend it. So it's a big tree. You're imagining you're hugging a big tree. Chest is open, breathing easy. The modus operandi I realized of trees the other day was permanent giving. That's just their modus operandi. You can exist like that. Trees do. Just mentioning it. Okay, right arm over the top of the left arm. Maybe several times. The idea is to really feel. Sorry, those of you with the microphone. And then eventually, you might feel ready to really wrap round. Could be that the back of the hands are together. It could be that the palms are slightly together or fully together. Understand that lots of little actions come together to make one big action. Bend your ankles, knees, and hips with cracking optional ankle cracking. And then come as low as you can go. Because I'm curious, how low can you go? Breathing into it, jaw soft. But of course, what we must ensure is flow. So going low at the expense of flow, that's a no. Thank you. Keep breathing into it. So physical movement is the same oftentimes as respiratory movement. Okay, calmly coming up. Get that energy down to your feet, especially if you have any propensity to dizziness. Release your arms. Shake out a little bit so you feel loose, free, breath-centered.
And when you're ready, after some deep breaths, stretch your arms out again. Try to look inspired, as if you were working for an advertising company and they were trying to get people to go to church. You know, doing one of those posters for church. And maybe they're going to artificially put some rays of light coming down on Photoshop afterwards. So try and look like that, like you're inspired. That's good, actually, Sophie. That's good. You look inspired. Right, go for it, Kate. Just give it like, yeah, that's it. Yes, Kate, that's really good. Now, the same, crossing over the arms, maybe several times, feeling into it. We know that yoga is beyond thinking. Even some yoga texts in the Hatha tradition even have that name. The Unmanaska is a name of a Hatha yoga text, and it means beyond the mind. Right? Again, lots of little movements can come together. So if you feel like, oh, I'm stiff, don't try and go from one position to your desired position in one step. Go in hundreds of small steps, tiny steps, fiber by fiber. Let that breath flow. Keep that to yourself. How are your toes, by the way? It's rhetorical. Don't answer out loud. Relaxed. They're connected to the mind. They are the mind. Toes and mind are one thing. What is the mind holding on to if the toes are tense? Remember, it's whatever the mind has taken hold of. We let go, we become emptiness. Bend when you're ready. Breathe into it. Don't hold your breath. Move where necessary. The body is what it is. So listening and responding. Avoiding getting jammed anywhere through those movements. In your own time, ascending calmly. Keep that energy down in your feet as you release your arms. Keep that energy down in the feet. Take deep breaths. Shake it off any way you want. It can be, really kind of quite free, or it can be more stuffy, like my version, a little bit of an English guy trying to let go. Up to you. You can be totally Californian. I can't do an impression of that. I'm too stuffy, or you can be more like me, a bit, vicious. And then when you're ready, we're going to use a pata, a belt, or if you can reach directly, hold directly, because we're going to take one hand with the other, using a belt to bridge the gap between the hands if you think you might need one. Frances is passing them out. Frances, who we've missed so very much, haven't we, since she's not been around the last few days. She's back, everyone. It's okay. So one elbow up, one elbow down. Doesn't matter which one you do first. Make sure your feet are comfortably positioned. If you feel you want a bit more space between them, that's fine. It's all about the breath. I think I've said that before. So breathe into it. Move in ways that make you disappear. Relax like everything's okay. Like it's okay, like it is. Here we are, Brighton Buddhist Center. No one expected the sun to shine, but there it is, shining. It's been raining, so it's one of those marvelous and rare days at the Brighton Buddhist Center where the glass atrium has very little seagull poo on it. It's marvelous, marvelous, rare opportunity to see it poo-less, relatively poo-less. Okay, and then release and breathe and shake off. Breath, breath, breath. Really breath, breath, breath. Shaking, moving, breath, breath, breath. When you're ready, obviously, the other arm is going to come up your back to the one you did before, and then taking a direct or indirect hold, indirect meaning via the belt. Keep your head in energetic alignment with the spine, if you know what I mean. Energetic alignment with the spine. So we're looking for flow, vahita. Energetic alignment is connected completely with that experience. And the only thing that gets in the way of energetic alignment is upadana, reaching out. Out of habit, we reach out from habitual tendencies. And that's based on the presumption, the assumption that there is somebody that we've got to be. Yoga says, no. Let experience and the experiencer become one. Stay longer if you wish. If you're ready to release, that works as well. So you can release in your own time. And then we're going to bring our hands either into Paschima Namaskara, which is this position, which you can see I take time to work my chest muscles actually into, or holding your elbows like this. Either way, Paschima Namaskara or holding the elbows. But if you come into Paschima Namaskara, use your spinous processes, that is, the bony prominences of the spinal column. Use your spinal processes to work your hands up and gradually massage your chest muscles and anterior shoulder blade muscles too, subscapularis, FYI. Okay. Back toes in, front foot and leg out, whole body's turning that way. As you turn, walk your front foot further across the width of the mat away from me. Lift your back heel up, externally rotate it, and then bring it down to square up further. Breathe through your nose if you can. Lightly tone your tummy from pubis to chest. Let's do that one again. Lightly tone our tummies from pubis to chest, reiteratively, again and again. Breathe through your nose. Feel pelvic floor support, adhara. Feel pelvic floor support, adhara. Stretch from your inner groin of the back leg up to your chest on an inhale. On the exhale, keep long from the inner groin and extend forwards. Hinge from your hip joints, top of the outer thigh. Allow your back leg to release back behind you. Don't hold your breath. Feel each micro moment from the point of view of breathing. You feel each micro moment from the basic standpoint of breathing. Jaw soft. Keep relaxing the chest muscles. If you've got Paschima Namaskara, your hands in prayer. Relax the subscapularis, the front face of the shoulder blade. It's very meditative to relax the subscapularis. You can't do that from thinking. You've got to give. Come up with the bottom of the breastbone leading. Keep breathing naturally. Turn back to the front. Don't release your hands. Turn your back toes in, front foot and leg out, whole body's turning in the other direction towards Sovereign House, which has recently been entirely gutted. Ready for that? What's that? Very noisily gutted indeed. It has been. And of course, they're preparing it for the new Vajrasati HQ in my fantasy world. Extend for your inner groin of the back leg on the inhalation, up. On the exhalation, keep long from the inner groin, extend forward, long. Can you imagine, can you feel?
long from the inner groin. Don't hold the breath. Keep breathing natural. Jaw passive. Remember that strength, or strong, you could say, and yoga are synonyms. Yeah. When we think about strength, sometimes we think incorrectly about some sort of gritted, toothed, furrowed brow, resistant. But actually, strength is togetherness. Feel that in your front leg. What fibers are not incorporated yet? Find ways to incorporate them into the uplift, holistically, breath by breath, fiber by fiber. The stronger the front leg, the more release of the spinal column. Because reciprocal inhibition means that the hamstrings release, the pelvis releases, the back releases. But also it steps you out of habituation. This coming back to bringing each and every fiber. Lead with the bottom of the breastbone to come up strong and calm, both those things. Turn back to the front. Walk your feet towards each other. And slowly, and perhaps with some relief, then you can release your arms and shake off in any way that you can. But don't worry if there's an afterglow. It's okay. It will just fade by itself. While it's fading, why don't we bring the feet together, spread out the tootsies, raise the right heel, bring the foot up high into the inner thigh, and open the chest with the hands at the heart. Breathe easy. Nice save, Eloise. Nice, you made it graceful at the end. Keep breathing through the nose if you can. So balance is kind of fun. If you do lose balance, make sure you come out of it with grace, like a cat who misjudges a jump over a wall, but still manages to sort of make the ending look okay. Usually followed by a sort of little wash. That bit you can miss out. So we know that in the first reference we have to something like tree pose, the practitioners known as Danda Swamis probably held the danda, so we can hold an imaginary danda, that is a stick, and they raised it above their heads. So we can imitate those early Danda Swamis partly. Not the full imitation, because they were known by the Greeks as gymnosophists for a reason. If your ancient Greek is not what it used to be, and it used to be terrible, you won't know that gymnosophist means a naked philosopher. So that bit we're not going to copy them on. It's just a ride. I just thought I'd mention that. If you've never seen the Bill Hicks clip, put Bill Hicks in your computer and it's just a ride. Okay, if you're on your computer, don't go on it now necessarily. Stick down, foot down, breath deep. Anything you need to do, shake it off any way you like. Just feel loose, like it's more and more natural as the class goes on. Just like informal, really informal. And then if you're ready to raise up the other leg, then go ahead. Breathe through your nose. Same. So the foot can go on the ankle or cup the knee or breathe high in the thigh. Hands to the Anjali Mudra. Breath natural, honest. It's just a ride. Breathe through your nose, if you can. Jaw soft, breathing deep. If you want to imitate or partly imitate the Danda Swamis, take your Danda and raise it up. 1 cubit in length, apparently. Make sure your head is in energetic alignment.
If you do lose balance, it's a good opportunity to be really, really, really nice to someone, yourself, just as an experiment. Okay, dunder's down when ready. Well done, everyone. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Nice and easy. Step your feet apart. Let's go diagonal. Bring your right foot forwards towards me. Right foot towards me. Left foot back away from me. Turn your right foot so the instep of the foot is parallel to the front of your mat. Like precisely parallel. Like engineering levels of parallel. Okay. Make sure your back toes don't turn out. And then we're going to bend and extend, tracking a sort of part of a semicircle with the knee. So you bend and re-extend, and you bend and re-extend. And the idea of that is each new sweep of action, you can bring more fibers into the movement. Remember, strength, holism, yoga, synonyms. Prakriti, if you want Sanskrit synonyms. Moving the leg around, opening up between the front hips, feeling every single fiber. No fiber is ignored and just told to put up with it. If there's a fiber that's not in agreement, that's not at peace, find ways to bring it in, whether that be pausing, breathing, moving, visualizing, whatever it is. When ready, stretch your arms as well. You can still move your feet and your leg as many times as you want. Breath, breath, breath. Beautiful. Breath, breath, breath. Incorporating, like tuning in a radio, and there's always more refined levels of getting that signal clean, crisp, clear. When you're ready, elbow down onto the leg. Stay with the inner thigh, stay with the movements if they're helpful. Breathe through your nose. Turning to look up if you want. Stretching up and over if you want. Don't look down, as they often say. Remember, what happens on the soles of your feet affects what happens higher up the body. So sometimes you might find it useful to move your toes or even a whole part of the foot, like the ball of the foot, just to free up any trapped tissue. Good job. Arm down, palm down. Inhale, and up you come. Well done. Good job, Barbara. Now the other leg. So one back, one forward. Breathe through your nose. Instep of the foot parallel to the front of the mat. Precisely parallel posturing, please. Make sure your back toes don't turn out by looking at them. Have a look. They don't have to turn in, but just make sure they don't turn out. Okay, track round. And the idea is to pick up more and more. It's like passing a magnet over iron filings in a way. Every time a new sweep, you pick up more fibers. Until you get to a point where there's nothing that's doing anything other than this. That's the goal of yoga, to get to a point where there's nothing that's doing anything other than this. That project opens up timelessness. Stretch the arms if you're ready, but you can still move the legs. Till there's nothing doing anything other than this. That opens the door to the ananta, the endless. In contact with the endless is so refreshing because everything else in our lives are marked by these end points. Got to finish this by that time. Got to do that by the other time. Got to get to here. Got to get to there. But contact with the endless, that dissolves this sense of a particular me and reabsorbs it into its home, interdependence. If you want, if you're ready, down you come. Take it calm, look up. If you want, stretch up, stretch over, breathe through the nose. Light tone in the tum. Breathe through your nose if you can. Still incorporate. We're not doing poses. We're using poses as portals to take us into a direct absorption of interdependence, a direct absorption. Okay, arm down, palm down. Use the leg, inhale. Level up the feet. Level up the feet. Hands on your hips. Breathe through your nose. Find the pelvic floor. For me, that usually means some movement of my pelvis. And finding it has nothing to do with opinions about it, views about what I should or shouldn't feel or do. Finding it is first order reality. So we're all going to find the pelvic floor without the after impression of mine or what I should do or right or wrong. First order reality, pelvic floor. Beyond thinking. First order reality, pelvic floor. And it's quite tricky because the mind keeps hopping into views and opinions about it, about oneself, about the moment. But we want the direct experience. And so I have to keep moving partly so that my mind doesn't get caught up in ideas about myself relative to my experience, in this case, of the pelvic floor. Stay aware of the pelvic floor, raise your arms, turn your palms, raise up. Tone your tummy, release the neck. Back toes in, front foot and leg out, whole body's turning that way. So turn your whole body around that way. And as you turn, square the body up. Walk your front foot further across the width of the mat until you're more squared up. Lift your back heel, externally rotate it, and then bring it down again until you're more squared up. Lightly tone the tummy from pubis to chest. If you can, if we can, it would be wonderful if we could feel into the inner groin of the back leg, from the very top of the inner thigh, softly releasing across the pubis, upwardly releasing, goes back underneath the belly muscles into the sides of the lower spine. One muscular continuum. Inhale, raise your fingers. Exhale, bend your knee, your front knee. Concentrate on releasing the inner groin of the back leg through whatever movement you need to create. Inner groin of the back leg twists round, releases up, and gives. Twists round, releases up, and gives. All the time the tummy is toned, the breath is deep, lots of repetition, movement, tuning and retuning. This, of course, is Veera Bhadra, good warrior. Bhadra means good. Inhale with the pelvic floor in your full awareness naturally. Come up, turn back to the front, big circle, hands to hips, deep breaths, tuning in on the pelvic floor. Deep breaths, tuning in on the pelvic floor. Hip joints to the top of the outer thighs. Raise your arms. From that point, how honest are we going to be about that? It's very, very easy to just put a that'll do. But let's try to, together, I'm talking about all of us together, to be really honest about raising our arms from the top of the outer thighs. With loads of kindness, loads of patience. Turn your back toes in, front foot and leg out, whole body's turning in the other direction. As you turn, walk the front foot further across the width of the mat. Lift the back heel, externally rotate it, and then bring it down again. The tummy is toned from the get-go. Breathe through your nose if you can. Feel pelvic floor, adhara, support. Feel pelvic floor, adhara, support. Inhale, hips to fingertips. Exhale, bend your front knee. Work on that twist and lift and release which is psychophysical, of the inner groin of the back leg. The heel can lift temporarily to borrow more space, borrow more movement if you want. So we want to get that turn. We want to get that lift. We want to come back to it again and again and again, fine-tuning the turn, the lift, and very importantly, the surrender. The turn, the lift, the surrender. Keep your head feeling like it's energetically aligned with the whole rest of the spinal column. Keep breathing deep. Inhale, pelvic floor in your awareness. Come on up. Turn back to the front, big wide circle. Hands to hips. A little bit of movement. Tune in on the living experience. You know, as Jesus said, I don't know much Jesus stuff, but I think he said, the truth will set you free. I think that's a Jesus thing. That's a pretty good thing. Eckhart Tolle, the power of now. That's another good thing, isn't it? Same sort of thing. We're going to forward fold, by the way. So if you know you might need bricks, and if you know you don't want to shove your face into somebody's buttocks, or if you know that you do, then you should move to the side in either of those circumstances. Turn your toes in and open the door to the endless. In other words, repeatedly extend your toes. Make sure the toes are turned in and the heels are turned out. Broaden across the feet multiple times. If you think it's the end, it isn't. You know, spreading the molecules across the balls of the feet. I know in my experience that I could keep going with that ad infinitum. And so I'm pretty sure it's the same for you. The only thing that gets in the way is habituation. We might say boredom, wanting to move away, wanting to move with, patterns, habits. So keep coming back to your toes. I'm still doing mine. Stay with the toes. Inhale from your groins, up. Exhale, fold over the top of the front thighs, hinge from the hip joints, hands on the block or floor or whatever. You know, it's not about how low, but it's about how much the pelvis is moving. So while the pelvis is moving, the spine goes along. When the pelvis stops moving, the spine stops. So we can feel that sense of openness. We can feel that sense of awareness of the central channel. Now, in case you think all that stuff about the feet is over, sorry, it tain't. We're back with the feet, and we want to balance again and rebalance again. Broad across the feet, balanced through the heels, deep from the outer ankles, lifted from the inner ankles. Some of you might find if you lift the whole front portion of your foot or feet, you can release some tissue further up the body. It's never about the pose. It's always about clean, clear, crisp. Getting that signal so clear that eventually there's no interference from any other frequency, as it were. Bring your left hand on the floor or block in the middle of the posture.
Press into your left hand and turn to bring your right hand on your sacrum. That is the bony plate above your tailbone and below your waist. Take deeper breaths. Let the tight fist of grasping open up into the open palm of surrender. Surrender to the way things are, knowing that listening, response are two aspects of one experience. Listening, response are two aspects of one experience. Returning to center, catching your breath, balancing the feet with a free flow breathing, turning the other way. Spread your toes. Spread your toes. Sometimes lifting the whole front portion of one foot or the other can be a good way of balancing the interdependent fibers throughout the body. The interdependent fibers throughout the body. Breath, breath, breath. Integration, those quadriceps. Okay, well done. Return to center. Walk your feet a little closer into each other. Come as high as you can on your fingers on your block or the floor, wherever it is. And then lead with the breastbone to come up. Bring your energy down into your feet. And then come down to the floor whenever you're ready, which is almost certainly right now. So laying on your back, hands under your head, deep breaths. So laying on your back, hands under your head, deep breaths. Mm. 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 Yeah. Deep, natural breaths. Hands under your head like a pillow, legs bent. So hands under your head like a pillow, legs bent. You got it. See if there's a connection between relaxing your left armpit and relaxing your breath and relaxing the mind. See if there's a connection between relaxing the left armpit, relaxing the breath, relaxing the mind, letting go of whatever. Doesn't matter. It's not about good and bad. It's whatever. See if there's a connection between relaxing your right armpit, the right side of the chest, the right shoulder, and the breath. If the mind is requested to release whatever it's taken hold of, have faith, have confidence in emptiness as your superpower. Your superpower, your ultimate beauty, your ultimate wisdom have always been revealed at those moments when you've forgotten to run your programs about being male, female, young, old, this adjective, that adjective. That's when your superpowers come, manifest. We're going to flex the hips in quite a particular way.
we're going to float the feet. Let the lower back push into the floor. So the feet kind of almost sort of spectrally float up off the floor, and the legs drift. That's different from pulling. They're drifting towards the pelvis. The feet are completely released from the ankles. That's it. Completely. The legs are drifting towards the pelvis. The breath, expressive. Lift up your head as well. Breathe into it. Feel the deep impression. Breathe into it. Extend the leg furthest away from me to about 45 degrees relative to the floor. Extend your leg out. Stay with each micro moment, each and every micro moment. Don't flinch. Stay close. Stay intimate. Stay with it. Breathe into it. Retract that leg. Take a deep breath. If you want to move your back in any way, you can before extending your other leg out. Similarly, breathe through your nose. Lower back close to the floor. Breath deep. Breath expressive. Slowly retract that leg back. Slowly bring your head down. Elbows down. Feet down. Breath out. Few really expressive deep breaths. Sigh-like exhales. Total giving. Total giving. Temples relaxed. Release your hands from behind your head. Roll over to face towards this side of the room and lay on your side. Extend your bottom arm. Extend your bottom ribs. Listening is response. Response is listening. Breathe calmly through the nose. If you're comfortable to bend your elbow and rest your head in your hand, do that. Otherwise, if it feels more comfortable, you can put a block or a blanket between your head and arm. Roll forwards and backwards, rolling with intent. Sounds like a crime, but it's not a crime. It's actually a wonderful thing to do. So what is the intent? To disappear. Rolling with intent to disappear. So as you roll, look for sensations that are so rich that are structures that are made to squeeze reality into can't do it. They can't find the space for this moment. This moment is too amorphous. This moment is too changeable. This moment is too rich. It's like dancing, it's like trying to catch the wind. It's also a marvelous 80s soft rock song. I hope you can remember how marvelous that song was. So rolling with intent. And you know it's going well because it makes your toes want to curl, or it makes you want to scratch the floor, or bend your legs, or screw up your face, or make an O shape with your mouth, or, claw the air. That's how you know. That's how you know. Those kind of lakshana signs. Bring the top leg up when you're ready. So come back to a balanced position and play with the top leg with intent to melt. So dissolution, melting, disappearing. So releasing the inner thigh, breathing through the nose with intent to melt. Not holding the breath. Melting as you move, moving as you melt.
from the inner groin. Can you feel the pubis on the lateral side, the outer side of the pubic bone? That muscles extend from that attachment point through the inner thigh. You can loosen those muscles. There are 5 of them. But each muscle in turn is made of muscle bundles, which in turn are made of muscle spindles, which in turn are made of muscle fibers. So we can eventually work right down not just the 5 muscles, but each fiber. Now, when you're ready, we're going to bring that leg on the floor behind us. Breathe easy. Relax. Push down so you can bring yourself up onto your forearm. As if you were sort of suddenly curious about something in the room. What's going on? Like that. Nice and calm, rolling movement, breath-centered movement, natural movement. There's the option. I like to bend my bottom leg, by the way, to do this, and then I re-extend it. There's the option to lift up if you want. It's optional. You can either keep your hand on your wrist, on the floor, on your hip, in the air, whatever you like. You can put it through your hair if your hair needs a little bit of revamping. Whatever you need to do. I like to lift the heel of the back leg as well. Some people find it useful to be able to lift the bottom leg foot as well, in case, for example, they're at home doing the yoga and the person they live with starts doing the hoovering and they, could you please? And you go, sure, go ahead, hoover underneath there. No problem. Expect to take as long as you want. You might say, okay, come down nice and calm when you're ready. Don't rush it. Well done. Knees up. Come up from the side. And then back down again. Whenever you're ready. As long as it's now. Don't rush, but do it now. Extend your bottom ribs. Extend the intercostals. External, internal, innermost. 3 layers of intercostal muscles. Just in case you're an anatomy nerd. Again, there's the option to support your head with your hand. Rolling hither and thither, which is the way that we used to say here and there, apparently. So rolling here and there, rolling with intent. Moving with intent. Intent to disappear. Have you ever disappeared into a kiss, or into the sun on your face, or into the smell of a rose, or into the feel of soft grass under your feet, or into the sensation of the body being immersed in water like the sea or a river? Have you ever forgotten everything about yourself in a moment where you're tasting a rich sensation? In that moment, is there anything other? Is there somebody experiencing it, or is there only the experience? For example, if you're eating rich, dark, delicious chocolate, do you eat the chocolate, or has, in a sense, it eaten you? Do you remain, or is only chocolate remaining? This is, by the way, not only a delicious metaphor, but a metaphor referring directly to the Yogacara school of Buddhism, that is the way of yoga, the discipline of yoga school. When you're ready, pick up the top leg and play with it between the horizontal and vertical planes. And there are those 5 muscles, adductor brevis, longus, magnus, pectineus, and gracilis. Again, I'm trying to bring delight to anatomy nerds. And then you can feel, 5 muscles. That's a lot to, feel. They're at different lengths, different thicknesses. Obviously, one is short, brevis. One is long, longus. So you can feel they're not only different lengths, but they're different thicknesses. one's really big, Magnus, Dr. Magnus. So working the 5 muscles into agreement, or even taking it deeper, taking it into the level of the bundles, the spindles, or even the fibers, individual fibers, takes you into timelessness. If you're ready, if you want to, you can bring your leg behind you, push with the hand that's not supporting your head to push yourself up, hand as if holding, I shouldn't say it, a toffee apple. Delicious toffee apples. And breathe through your nose if you can. Jaw soft. Again, you can bend if you want the bottom leg and then extend it to lift up, or just lift up as you like. Fingertips on the floor. You can raise the heel of the back leg, raise the top arm if you like, keep it on the wrist. Up to you, raise the top leg, raise the bottom leg. There's multifarious things you can do. But what we all want to ensure is that there's some sense of lila play. There's some sense of lila. Yeah, good job. Come down calmly, nice and slow, nice and easy. Bring yourself up from the side, cross your leglets, gap between the legs and the pelvis. Sitting on a block, if you know that's useful. If you're sitting on 2 blocks, which can be useful as well, make sure you've got another block behind you and a blanket underneath your legs. So if you're on 2 blocks, then use a blanket under your shins. Yeah, great. Gusset flesh drawn out and back. I think it's often you can do that more than once. It's got that tuning in thing, you know, it's like you can use molecular adjustments, gets to the molecular feeling, to tune the mind in on a molecular level until there's nothing doing anything other than this, and that's called samadhi. Nothing doing anything other than this is called samadhi. It's like ultimately calm. The Sanskrit word is chamata, ultimately calm. Of course, there can be movement that is meditative, movement that is connected with breath release. Jaw soft, eyes soft. Movement that is meditative, movement that is connected with breath release. Movement that is connected with a movement from a closed fist to an open palm. Inhale, lift up from the inner groins. Exhale, right hand on the floor behind you. Cross your left hand over both your legs. Relax the jaw. Relax your bum. Aparigraha. Jaw soft, eyes soft. Balance between the left and right sides, the left and right channels. Om. Yes. Release, return, keep going round to the other side. Similarly, passive jaw, passive temples. Relaxed buttocks. The bum is quite revealing.
of whether or not we're settled in our seat. And if we're not settled in our seat, it's because there's some disturbance, what in yoga is usually called vritti, some disturbance, usually to do with reaching to the past, like regret, remorse, or nostalgia, or the future. What's going to happen? How will it be? Or reaching out to ideas about oneself in the present. Who am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? All of this leads to the bum being tense, as if we're ready for whatever it is. You know, I'm ready to jump up, I'm ready to move, I'm ready to. But samadhi, everything is doing just this. In the Yogacara, they say, experience only. It's like a corrective. Imagine the Yogacara tradition is saying it like this. No, experience only. No need to create an experiencer. Okay, calmly return to center. And so as not to disappoint, we better do an Adho Mukha Svanasana, down-faced dog. First thing to do in your down-faced dog is check your hands are equidistant from the sides of the mat to the millimeter. Imagine that I, Jim Tarrant, was about to produce a ruler complete with millimeters and was going to walk around the room and measure from the little finger of each hand the exact distance, and I was going to scold you with a firm stare if you didn't have the exact distance. And of course, no one wants a firm stare from Jim Tarrant. It's like a Paddington Bear stare. Ominous. So check and recheck. Middle fingers face forwards. Fingers are spread. Can you spread enjoyably the aponeurosis, the connective tissue on your palms? Again and again. Really enjoy molecular contact. Deepen that molecular contact through movement and stay with that molecular contact with your palms as you lift your bum up. Breathe through your nose if you can. Heels back, thighs up. Heels back, thighs up. That's quite a sort of subtle ask. I actually find I can only do it initially one leg at a time. So I concentrate on one leg and then I try it with the other. And then eventually you might be able to tune in both legs similarly. Heels back, thighs up, underneath the kneecaps, a sense of space opening up underneath the kneecaps. Well done. Coming down to regular kneeling if you're comfortable. Without a block, fine. Otherwise, put a block between the heels and buttocks or two. If your ankles are tight, put a rolled up blanket underneath your ankles. Breathe easy. Actually, better to have like that. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, pleasure. Perfect. Actually, just there. Yeah, that's it. Good. Breathing easy through your nose. We're going to send one Om up through the central channel, starting at the pelvic floor. One Om. So try and physically feel this Om move from the pelvic floor and feel it moving up and up as you chant it until you imagine it coming up out of the crown of the head. There are various are ways of thinking about this, a connection between Shiva and Shakti, Shiva being at the crown of the head, Shakti being at the pelvic floor, and Shiva being consciousness, Shakti being manifest reality. That's one way to think about it. There are others, but let's stay with that one. So the oneness of consciousness and manifest reality. It's actually a Yogacara philosophy that Tantric Shaivism took on. So when we're ready, we're going to breathe down. So let's breathe down to the pelvic floor. Inhale, down you go. Oh. Then a really deep breath at the end. Sitting in Rigpa, as the Tibetans call it, non-duality in the middle, right in the center of all possibilities, left, right, up, down, good, bad, you, me, can, can't, success, failure, pleasure, displeasure. They're all around the center point, but we're not reaching out to any of them. There they are, we can feel them, all the polarities, and they're allowed, but we're leaving them alone. We've learned to leave them alone. Mm. 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 Right in the middle, all around us, like the numbers on a clock or the points on a compass, are all the polarities. Understand, misunderstand, fair, unfair, craving, aversion. But we're in the middle. Can leave all of that behind. We're going to bring ourselves to laying calmly on our backs for Shavasana, although I didn't like to disturb that magical moment. Make sure you're warm. Make sure you're supported. Head support can be nice. If you're near the sunshine, you might want to put your feet in the sunshine. If you're not near the sunshine, you might experience empathic joy for those that are in the sunshine. Blankets, socks, mittens, energetic insulation. Shoulder blades scoot under so your chest has a floaty feeling. Shoulder blades scoot under so that your chest has a floaty feeling. The chest has a floaty feeling. Eyes closed, jaw soft, brain soft, tongue soft. I'm just going to press on your shoulders.
I remember not long ago, actually, it was 4 years ago now, but a friend of mine who owns a yoga studio in Brixton, his name's Vachasin. He used to be called Gordon, but he's got a better Buddhist name now, Vachasin. He came into the studio one day elated, and he was often chirpy. Still is. I saw him about a month ago. He was elated, and I thought, what's Vachasin so happy about? He said, I just turned 60, he said. And I thought to myself, oh, I don't have to keep struggling. You know, he's sort of in his mind, he's retired, although he's working harder than ever. But there was a great joy in that sense of Sharanagati, surrender. A great joy in that sense of surrender. It's like surrender is like coming home. It's really simple. It's like coming home. Total surrender, Sharanagati. No one to be, nowhere to go. No one to not be. Just surrender. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. And feel the soft spread of energy, maybe tingling or buzzing or temperature. Feel the soft spread of energy move through the body. Bend your legs. Place the soles of your feet onto the floor.
Scoot the buttocks under, surrender the lower back entirely to the breath. When you're ready, roll onto your side, facing away from this side of the room. Lay as comfortably as you can on your side. In your own time, roll easily so you face towards the front of the room. Bring yourself up from the side. Use your arms to assist your ascent. Hands to prayer position. May any benefit that we've gained in our acting in this way go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings. Om.